We continue this example with the next criterion used to determine the fairness of an election method, and this criterion is known as the Condorcet criterion, and that's named after the French mathematician Nicolas de Condorcet. And the Condorcet criterion states that if a candidate wins a majority, again, it's more than 50%, if a candidate wins a majority of head-to-head comparisons with every other candidate, then that candidate should be declared the winner of the election. Now, we've seen head-to-head before. One of the methods here, the pairwise comparison method, uses head-to-head to determine the winner of an election. But for here, we're going to use it not only to determine the winner, but we're also using it to determine the Condorcet criterion, whether the rest of them violate this criterion here. So this example says, the table shows the preference table for a selection of favorite types of beer, ale, lager, pilsner, and stout. Decide which candidate would be chosen with each of the following voting methods. Then determine if the method used violates the Condorcet criterion. So the Condorcet criterion, we wind up using the pairwise comparison method to see who is the winner of the Condorcet criterion. So the first thing we'll have to do is we'll have to figure out a majority. So if we go ahead and we add up all the voters here, 64 plus 45 plus 43 plus 39 plus 22, that's 213 voters or 213 ballots that were cast. Therefore, 50% would be, more than 50% would have to be, and I'm just going to write it right here, 107. You would have to get 107 first choice votes in order to be a majority. So we're going to wind up using that in order to determine who is the winner up here, ale, lager, pilsner, or stout, using the pairwise comparison method. And of course, that's going to set our Condorcet criterion. So if you recall, in order to determine how many pairings we're going to have, we use the simple formula n for the number of candidates, times n minus 1, and then we divide that by 2. We've got 4 candidates, ale, lager, pilsner, and stout. So that's 4 times 4 minus 1. That's 4 times 3 divided by 2. So that comes out to be 6. So we're going to have 6 pairings. So we'll pair up. We'll start with ale. We'll go ale versus lager. Ale versus pilsner. Ale versus stout. Lager versus pilsner. Lager versus stout. And then pilsner versus stout. And I think we got them all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then, of course, we just see who is ranked higher, and they collect those votes. So I'm just going to see where ale is higher than lager right here. So ale gets 64 votes here, not here, not here, right here. So he gets another 39. 64 and 39 is 103. So therefore, lager is getting all the other votes. That would be the 110. So ale does not get a majority. So therefore, lager here would win in a head-to-head comparison with ale. We'll try ale and then pilsner. Wins right here. Ale gets 64. Here's pilsner. Ale wins 64 here. Not here. Not here. Not here. And not here. So ale only gets 64. So then pilsner gets all the rest, which would be 149, right? So pilsner wins in a head-to-head comparison with ale. We do ale and stout. Got 64 here. And I think that's it. So stout gets all the rest. So stout wins here. In a head-to-head comparison, stout has more votes than ale. We'll do lager and pilsner. Lager gets 64 here, 45 here, and I think that's it. but that's 64 and 45. That's 109. So that's a majority. So Lager wins. Lager in a head-to-head with Pilsner gets more votes. We'll do Lager and Stout. Wins right here. Wins right here. And that's okay. That's 109 again. So Lager wins again. And if you could see right away, Lager wins here. Lager wins here. And Lager wins here. There's only 6. So they already won. There's 3. But we'll go ahead and we'll do Pilsner and Stout here. Pilsner wins here. Pilsner wins right here. And I think that's it. So Pilsner gets 109. So Pilsner wins in a head-to-head. But we've already seen here, if we award 1 point to whoever wins a head-to-head, we can see that Lager will have 3 points. Pilsner will have 2 points. And Stout will have 1 point. So Lager wins in the head-to-head comparison. So we could also say, for right here, the pairwise comparison method, Lager is going to win. I'm just going to put it right here. So now Lager is the Condorcet winner. So can somebody else win using the plurality method? If somebody else can win using the plurality method other than Lager, then we can say that the plurality method can violate the Condorcet criterion. And if we go over here, you can see right here, Ale has got 64. Stout's got 39 and 22. That comes out to be 61. So Ale would win in the plurality method. So I'm just going to put it here, Ale. So we can say that the plurality method can violate the Condorcet criterion. Doesn't mean that it will all the time, but it can. It has the potential to violate it. Let's try the board account method. Now for the board account method, we assign points to the rankings here. I'll give 4 points for first, 3 for second, 2 for third, and 1 for fourth. Then we go through and we count up how many first choice votes each candidate has and then assign those points to it. So we'll start out with Ale. Ale has 64 right here. So we'll give 4 points times 64. Ale has no second choice votes. Ale has 39 third choice votes. We award 2 points for each one of those votes. And Ale has 45 and 43 and 22 fourth choice votes. We give 1 point for that. So that comes out to be 1 times 110 altogether. We then tally this all up, and that comes out to be 444 points. So using the board account method, Ale gets 444 points. We'll then do Lager. .45, so that's 4 points for the 45 first choice votes. 64 for second choice, so we give 3 points for those 64 votes. For third choice, 43 and 22, that's 65, so we'll give 2 points for those 65. And then 39 right here. So 1 times the 39. Of course, we go ahead and we tally it all up. We add it all up, and this comes out to be 541 points. So using the board account method, Lager gets 541. We'll then do Pilsner. .43, so that's 4 times 43. 39 and 22, that's 61, so 3 times 61. 64 and 45, so that's 2 times 109. There's none for fourth choice, So we'll get rid of this here. We'll tally all this up, and this comes out to be 573 points. So Pilsner gets 573 points using the board account. And we'll finally do stout. 39 and 22, that's 61, so 4 points for those 61 votes. 45 and 43, that's 88. None for the third choice, so we won't worry about it. And then 64 for fourth choice. And we go ahead and we tally it all up, and this comes out to be 572 points. Whoa, look at that. So the winner here is Pilsner. Pilsner has the highest number of points. So Pilsner wins using the board account method. So far we've gone through 3 methods. We use the pairwise comparison method to help with the Condorcet criterion, so it's the same. Pairwise came up with the logger. So the pairwise comparison method will never violate the Condorcet criterion. The board account method can violate. Doesn't mean that it always will, but it can. So we have the ale, one in the plurality method, Pilsner, one in the board account method. We know lager should be the Condorcet winner. That's going to be the pairwise comparison method. So let's do the plurality with elimination method. So again, with the pairwise, we wind up eliminating. We first look for a majority. We know that there isn't any. Here's 64. That's the most. If there was a majority of 107 or more votes, then we've reached our plurality. But since there isn't any, then what we do is we look for who has the least amount of first choice votes, and we eliminate them. And that looks like Pilsner right here. 39 and 22 for stout, that's 61, but Pilsner right here. So we just cancel them. We just go through it and cancel them. And then wherever they're canceled, everybody below that shifts up in ranking. So this is what it should look like. We still don't have a majority. 43, 39, and 22, that's 104. We'd have to have 107 or more, so we still haven't reached a majority, so we do the elimination again. And again, we eliminate whoever has the least amount of first choice votes, and that's lager. So we'll just cross them out. Everybody below shifts up in ranking, so this is what it should look like. So now we have 45 plus 43 plus 39 plus 22. So obviously stout has a majority here. The only other first choice one here is ale, and that's 64. So it looks as though stout, I'm just going to place it right there, stout wins the plurality with elimination method. So we can say that the plurality with elimination method can violate the Condorcet criterion. So look at that. We have these 4 methods here, and each method produced a different winner. But we can say that the plurality method, the board account method, and the plurality with elimination method all can violate the Condorcet criterion, while the pairwise comparison method will never violate the Condorcet criterion. And there we go.